were these missile attacks actually greeted in Moscow?
I think the main emotion here was relief, actually, because there was a lot of concern ahead of the attacks that it would be bigger and that it might actually either inadvertently or deliberately target Russian installations in Syria, which would be a serious escalation. So I think the sense here generally was that this was a pretty narrow attack and that whatever message they'd gotten out about the possibility of escalation being dangerous, they got that across.
Gregory, make us smarter here on what Mr. Putin could do. Does he acquire more acreage in Ukraine? Does he do his own set of sanctions? What's the to-do list of Mr. Putin to respond to this?
At the moment, I think what we're going to see is there's going to be some response on the sanctions. The parliament's getting going on some sort of measures to counter sanctions against U.S. companies. It looks like they're going to target some remaining exports to the U.S. exports to Russia and some of the areas where Russia's an important supplier to the U.S. It's not clear how much leverage there is there. There's some aerospace links, some nuclear energy stuff. But there's obviously, given the difference in size between the economies, there's not a huge amount of leverage what Russia has. So that's the first step. In Ukraine, everybody's been watching for a step up in the violence so far. We haven't seen it, but that's always a possibility. And on the ground in Syria, the Kremlin's really invested in the peace plan keeping Assad in place. So if the U.S. can if any further U.S. intervention is limited there, then I think that ultimately, on balance, is good for Putin, and that's going to be something he's happy about.
But, Gregory, is it tit for tat, but still business as usual between the U.S. or Russia, or actually can they no longer work together?
I think the sense is that on a political level, clearly every step lately has been downwards. And for all the talk about Putin, about Trump wanting a better relationship with Putin, the reality is that the relationship is worse than it's ever been. And it does seem like the level of trust is so low on both sides that it's going to be really hard to patch this one up.